is in a way what iCloud is copying. You know, if you're, I'm sure you all probably use Dropbox. It is so amazing how it replicates to all the devices. It's not just that it's in the cloud, right? Cloud computing is a really big deal. You know, it's a whole new model, so that when you put something into Dropbox, it automatically replicates down to all your devices. So if you change like I made a change to this presentation actually less than an hour ago, and that's why I almost was late. And I saved the file, of course. Now, so as soon as I saved it, it automatically goes up to Dropbox. So then I turn on the iPad, I go to Dropbox, and there it is. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to download it. I didn't have to synchronize it. I didn't have to do anything. That's what cloud computing is all about. So I think we're going to see some really, really big things there. So now the last one is trust. Can we trust the internet? This is the biggie. It's a valid question. It doesn't have easy answers. I trust the internet, but I know that there are risks. Every day, right this minute, there are people somewhere trying to break in to our systems. And they do it with a vengeance. If you heard Mark talk yesterday, Mark Anderson was talking about this. He made a speech about some particular country and said something nasty about them, and next thing you know, his systems are being hacked from people from that country. And it's a serious worry, but it should not deter us. It should encourage us to be vigilant. It should encourage us to make sure our security budgets are big enough, that we have really good people, our best people, focused on security, that we hire people to try to break in. Years ago at IBM, I created a group, I called them ethical hackers. And it was a business. And people would hire this group. I don't know if they still have them or not. They probably do, because it was a very profitable business. They would hire these incredibly bright PhDs from Yorktown Heights, Watson Research Center. They would hire them to break in to their company. And of course, after they did break, and they always were able to break in, always, 100% of the time. And then they would go back and show them how they did it and show them how to fix it. Business processes are part of the trust. So it's not just the hackers. It's not just encryption. It's not just the security of our network and our systems. It's also, do people trust our business processes? Do they trust the peer review process? Do they trust our refund policies? Do they trust our locking us into 2 years? Do they trust the penalties that are imposed for various things? Do they trust you if you impose a charge because the legislation does one thing, so okay, we'll charge everybody $5 a month to have a debit card. You know, the bank took a hit on that. So we really have to think through whether we're treating our customers the way we would want to be treated ourselves. And I would say most importantly here, the bad things, and there are a lot of them, should be dealt with through technology, not through laws. Laws don't work. God forbid if the SOPA had gone through. You might have an opinion about the motion picture industry. I remember years ago at the beginning, you know, we all knew, those of us that were involved in the internet, we knew that music was going to be shared on the internet because it was so easy to do. Some of us were bold enough to think someday it could actually happen with video. And musicians would come to some of our conferences and they would show us checks that they got in the mail from people that got their music from Napster. They wanted to pay for it, but there was no way to pay for it. You couldn't buy it until iTunes came along. Now, you have a new movie that comes out, The King's Speech. I would love to see that movie, but I'm not going to go to a theater. I'm going to wait till it comes to Netflix so that I can stream it. I'm willing to pay for it, right? But there's no way I can pay for it. Well, this makes some people really mad. And some people that are perhaps a bit immature say, well, the hell with them, I'm going to steal it. Is it because they're thieves? Well, yeah, some of them are. But others they're just mad that there's no avenue, there's no channel, there's no way that you can buy the content. So, in conclusion, how do you survive in this environment? Well, I say, first of all, think outside in. Listen to the people. They have the power. Walk in their shoes. Think big, act bold, start simple, iterate fast. Baby steps. 18-month development plans for big new projects. a thing of the past, because at the end of the project development cycle, everything is different. Anticipate the evolution of the internet. We just hit the wave tops here this morning, but it's worth really digging into, and make sure you have a vision. There's plenty of people that have it. Google it and read about it and bring in experts and keep focused on how it's going to impact your business. And talk to kids. You know, they have the net attitude. Ask them what they think of a branch office. Ask them why they don't answer their emails anymore. They used to. They don't answer emails anymore. Why is that? What do they think about texting? What do they think about social media? And lastly, focus on health. It is our future, whether we're a patient or whether we're a provider or whether we're a business that has people, our most important asset. If they're not healthy, they're not going to be able to do much for us. Well, you can find everything that I've ever said or done at patrickwebb.com. My blog is there on the homepage. Net Attitude is a book that I wrote about this 10 years ago. The concepts in it, the philosophy in it, the attitude in it are still quite valid, I would modestly say. Well, it's been a great pleasure to be here. I'm getting the hook. Is there time for a question?
We're running a little late, but I'd love to have some questions. So
Oh, okay.
Kathy?
Kathy? Right here.
John, Jim. It's not working. Oh, there it is.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
You had the luxury of being at a hardware company that became a software and services company. I'm interested in your thinking about R&D spend at places like IBM, Intel, et cetera. Where's that going, and is the number shrinking?
Well, it's not shrinking at IBM. You may have seen the patent report that was just issued, where IBM, for the 19th consecutive year, had the largest number of patents of any company in the world. And it's probably the largest place where there's original research happening. I think there's around 3,000 PhDs, I believe, at IBM Research right now. In the aggregate, it is shrinking. And this is definitely a concern. And research outside of the U.S. is strong. So it's definitely a competitive threat to the country. Okay, well, thank you very much.